This video contains subject matter that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are the type to require a warning throughout a video or show, let this message serve as your warning. This channel discusses the harsh reality of true crime. If this warning is not sufficient for you, consider a different genre and unsubscribe from my channel immediately.
Yeah, I think I had that audio problem again. I was just looking at it. Okay, let me tell me if you can hear that again on the intro. Wow.
This video contains subject matter that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are the type to require a warning throughout a video or show, let this message serve as your warning. This channel discusses the harsh reality of true crime. If this warning is not sufficient for you, consider a different genre and unsubscribe from my channel immediately.
Okay. Alright. Yeah. I don't know why it's doing that. It used to always save its settings, but it changes on that one for some reason. Thank you, Shelly Pink, for that. Loud and clear, huh? Alright. Hey, thank you, Jessica Schubach. Tomorrow night is our donation night. Okay, I want, again, let me just do the reminder. All the mods, be welcoming to everybody. You know, try to engage people. Let them, you know, say stuff and don't ignore them or anything like that. Alright, awesome. Okay. What was it? Oh yeah, you know, I was watching this doctor. He was talking about some of the side effects of some people, very rare, but people have reported in the shots. One person said that, or not one, but people have said that they have a metallic taste for a couple days sometimes. Oh my God, it must be the nanobots, everybody. That COVID arm that somebody mentioned, that's a real thing. I guess you can, you know, very rare, but people have reported getting their arm, like it had a rash, and then that goes away too, just like the metallic taste. And then the cool one though is that you can have like UFO dreams. What do you think about that? Which one? What one did you get, Liz? Did you get the? Hey, there's Lanky Tor. I mentioned you last night. Yeah. Oh yeah? Okay. Well, okay, hold on a second.
Hey, it's gonna be Mary Lou singing happy birthday for Jennifer Rochelle. That's me though, okay? Here we go! Happy birthday, dear Reed. Happy birthday, dear Reed. Happy birthday, dear Reed. Happy birthday to you.
And many more.
Hey, you're always good at that. You're good timing on that one, John Buck.
Well, thanks, Mary Lou.
Alright, cool. Alright, glad I was able to put a smile over there. Awesome. I had remembered earlier and then I forgot before the show. Yeah, so those are some crazy. A lot of people are saying they have like these like outer space dreams. It's pretty crazy, huh? I'm looking forward to getting some of those though. Oh yeah, what type of shot did you get up there? Whoever got that first one, they said they got their first. Oh yeah, Liz Parson. What did you say after that? I'm getting the Pfizer one on Sunday. All right. Now, also, I got a question for you guys. Can you guys see this Band-Aid on my hand right there? Can you see that? I just want to make sure. Because I am suing Band-Aid for not making a Band-Aid that matched my skin tone absolutely perfectly. And what with the current climate we're in right now, I think I could actually win that case. Hey, you're discriminating against me because it doesn't blend in perfectly here, okay? And, I wish I was joking right now, but what we're going to do is we're going to switch over to this idiot teacher named Mickey Park Gilmore, who, watch this one.
White privilege. Think about it. Whose flesh tone is this? I have brown Band-Aids in my classroom. I had to special order them. They're twice as much as these, and they're hard to find, and they're frequently out of stock. But when I hand a brown child a white Band-Aid, I am literally adding insult to injury, and I refuse to do that in my classroom.
Yeah. See, that's what we get now, everybody. People like that. Isn't that weird? I mean, believe it or not, that's an actual real person who's actually complaining about something. Who gives a shit what color your Band-Aid is? You know, you got to cut, you just put a Band-Aid on. A lot of kids want you to see it better, so it sticks out more. Hey, yeah, I got a little nick here. Nobody puts on a Band-Aid to have it... Hey, what I just showed you right there is the crap that's going on. Come on, Cindy, come on! You know, that's some crazy shit right there, right? Oh, man. I had to show you that because it actually bothered me quite a bit. Hey, look at there. There's the hawk with Pock. Psycho and Wacko Killer, referring to the... the killer in the Delphi case. Yeah. Yeah, I was going to make that same thing on a mug and sell them. Pock. Unfortunately, she made it, so she'll claim copyright, even though it was my concept. Where is that one? Yeah, well, she's not really tripping. That's an actual way of thinking out there. It's not. I think she's an absolute lunatic. I'd fire her from her job within 5 minutes after posting that video. I mean, you're just looking for things to try to divide people. Oh, God, it's ridiculous. Now, even if it was just the one tone, who cares? I mean, it's just a freaking Band-Aid. You know, it doesn't have anything to do with anything. It's just somebody made a Band-Aid one day. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'll just make it I'll just make my own version of it. Yeah, right after I made it, I was like, oh, that'd be kind of a cool mug. I don't know if I would have put the not symbol on it. But if you send me one, I'll definitely hold it up. Or maybe I'll just do something else. I don't know how many people would be interested in a POC mug. But I would definitely take one if you got one. Yeah, who cares? Right. You just want to put a Band-Aid on. That's it. There's no... because where do we stop at that point, right? It's like, okay, let's say you made a black Band-Aid. Well, it doesn't... That would be almost racist to make it completely... Let's say you made one that was absolutely black, right? Well, that'd be racist, right? Because he'd be like, oh, well, we're not really black. Well, that's what I was just showing you, is that how do you get the exact tone of the person? Okay, so why not just make one and whatever? Okay, so let's make one. How about this, Band-Aid? Let's make one that is just gray. Okay, a hue of some sort. And then there's nothing about it. It's right in between, white and black, right in between. Make it gray, call it, and we'll call it good. All right. I just think it's unbelievable. I don't we have a lot more shit to worry about than that stuff, you know? Yeah. Hey, how's it going? Yeah. Right. Yeah, they don't care about it. Insult to injury. Not one kid gave a damn what color that looked like until you tried to point it out to him and made him realize that, according to you, they should feel bad. Right. Okay, let me get to... I'm just going to switch right over to the cases now. And now I'm going to go back to, again, the headless woman in Wyoming. And I'm going to go through that whole story again, in order. And we're just going to get through it. All right? Yeah. Hey, Truth, are you ready to get talking about something else other than your personal stuff? All right. Awesome. All right, here we go. I'm going to open up the Jane Doe. We're going to switch over to 1978. Awesome. So this is how this all played out here. Okay. Nude headless body found near Wheatland, Wyoming. All right, so I'm going to go over to that really quick. Everything's so, like, jittery. A lot of times I feel like I should just reboot. Look at that house. That's just kind of like... So here's the town of Wheatland right here. So a decapitated nude female body was found about 2 miles north of Wheatland. I think this is still a cold case, despite what they're saying. Saturday afternoon near Interstate 25. Let's see. Either Michelson, Platte County, or not either, it's Einer Michelson, Platte County Sheriff, said Monday the body was found about 1:30 p.m. by a truck driver who had stopped to recover a tire and a wheel from a nearby meadow. It must have fallen off his truck, rolled into the meadow, and he walked out there and saw her. Preliminary results from an autopsy on Monday show the victim was white, about 4'9", and weighed... Hold on a second. Still doing the show. What's going on? That was my friend talking about, he wanted to talk about golf. All right, so preliminary results from an autopsy on Monday show the victim was white, about 4'9", that's pretty short, and weighed 125 pounds, said Anthony Malovich, director of the State Criminal Investigation Division. More tests are needed to determine age and cause of death, he said. The body was too badly decomposed to determine if the woman had been a rape victim, Michelson said. He estimated the woman was between 30 and 40 years old. Malovich estimated the victim had been dead for about 1 week. The lack of a head would appear to impede progress. Oh, really? Yeah, okay. In the investigation, Malovich said, adding that an anthropologist may be called in to determine bone structure. Now, the body was in a kind of crevice with an overhang rock, Michelson said. So it was in a crevice. I couldn't find that on the map. Despite a search of the area, the head of the body has not been found, he said. There have been no reports of missing women in the Wheatland area also. So that was on the 18th. Then on 1978, the next day in the paper, authorities Tuesday persuade several pursued. Excuse me. God, it's so far away from me. Let me zoom in on this. There we go. Pursued several leads relating to the nude, headless body of a woman found over the weekend. So we have a lot of rumors we're tracking down. Anthony Malovich, director of the State Criminal Investigation Division, said anthropologist Dr. George Gill of Laramie examined the body Tuesday, but details were not available. He said x-rays of the body are being compared to x-rays of a Craig, Colorado woman. That wasn't the individual in that case. Man, it's so so slow. Everything's so slow over here. It's weird. Well, I'm sure they kind of guessed at how tall she was without the head. They didn't say, wow, she's... Well, maybe they did. Maybe they only measured the head, the body. Because right here they say, authorities still have no positive leads as to the identity of a woman whose nude, headless body was found Saturday. We just don't have anything positive, no positive leads at all. Michelson said pathology tests so far have shown the woman was between 23 and 28, 5'6" inches to 5'7". Well, wow, they must have forgot to measure the head the first time. Are you kidding me? You just measured from the base of the... Oh, man. The calluses and bunions on the woman's feet indicated she wore high heels for quite a while. So she wore high heels. Testing was conducted this week at the State Crime Laboratory in Cheyenne. The head, which has not been recovered, was severed from the body with a sharp instrument. No blood was found at the scene. People are wondering if it could be one of their family, the sheriff said, noting that his department has been spending time checking out such inquiries. So, you got that one. Then I know. So they must have just forgot to put the head in there, LM. That's what I think that's kind of what One Sly Angel was wondering about. Case baffles officers. The identity of a nude, headless female body found near Wheatland last week is a stalemate. Anthony Malovich, director of the State Criminal Investigation Division, said Monday the CID is just following leads that come in on possible identity of the body. Files on reported missing persons are also being searched. He said decomposition of the body is the big problem in the identification. Well, I think it's more the missing the head, but Malovich added that the CID is still waiting for results of tests run on the body. Okay, then we've got one more from that time frame. Woman buried. The body of a decapitated nude female found near Wheatland last week was buried Monday, her identity still unknown. Between my best friend and I, we buried her, Harley Prell, Platte County coroner said. He added that a local minister officiated the service, which was attended by funeral home staff members and some city employees. The body was found about 2 miles north of Wheatland, April 15th, by a truck driver who had stopped to recover a tire and a wheel from a nearby meadow. The head had not been found. Preliminary tests estimated the woman was 23 to 28 years old, 5'6 to 5'7", 120 to 140 pounds. Results from additional tests have not been determined or not been returned to the State Criminal Investigation Division. Leads of missing persons from as far away as New York and Pennsylvania have been investigated by the CID but have been abandoned, Malovich said. Okay, so they really didn't have any information. So that's all we had originally. So I contacted the Platte County coroner, or I think it was the sheriff first, and then he was like, wow, okay, because I said, hey, maybe we can do, I think it was the funeral home guy who was also the coroner, and he was kind of excited about it. So because I mentioned that we have a fund that we built up, and if you guys have any of her DNA, if you want to exhume the body, that would be great. So, you know, we could get the DNA and maybe try to identify who she was. And then a few days went by, and then I contacted a funeral home there, and there was an old guy that answered the phone. He goes, "Oh yeah." I said, "Yeah, I'm calling about the Jane Doe there." And then he said, "Oh, you mean the lady without the head?" And I said, "Yeah, that one." And I go, "Yeah, we're talking about maybe doing genealogy research." He goes, "Why would you do that? They identified her." And then I was like, "What do you mean they identified her?" Because you couldn't find her in any of the Wyoming newspapers or anything like that. And so bits of information came out, and one of the freaks in here found a document. Then I looked up some more stuff, and then I found sort of the trail after that. So I guess we won't need to be identifying her, but look how crazy this whole thing gets here. Watch this. So then 1983, 5 years later, I know it's weird that the sheriff didn't know, but it was so long ago, he probably didn't know that. I don't think I actually spoke to the sheriff. It was the coroner. The coroner at this time. He just didn't know it was. It was an older person who'd lived there longer. It doesn't mean anything to me. That's like trying to find something. So, woman's body identified as former Gehring teacher. So this is 1983. Authorities have identified the body of a woman found dead in a ditch near Wheatland, Wyoming in 1978. And this is in the state of, she's from Nebraska. And actually on the map, let's see, Scottsbluff authorities. I think it's not far away at all. It's right over here, I think. Now let me, that's another one. I don't know how far down I have this one, but let me just try to. Actually, I can just go like this. There we go. So Scotts Bluff, right there. See, that's where Scotts Bluff is. It's not far from Wheatland, but this is in another state. This purple line here is the border. See that? And it's right on. Or close to the border. Right there. Okay, Scotts Bluff. So this is where she's from. And I think it's only about 40 miles away. And you can see the likely route would be like this. And then down. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if she was found on the right side of the road. Or, you know, you could have taken this road too, but it looks, I don't know, it looks really dicey. I think the only real route is right like that. Alright. Hey, look at that. Hey, the Hawk, did you make one of these too, a tumbler? Yeah. All right, here we go. John Oliver, an investigator for the Nebraska State Patrol in Scotts Bluff, said Friday the death of Stella McLean, that's her name now. Now there's actually a name. Stella McLean, 45, is an apparent homicide. Yeah, I think so. When you're nude and you're missing a head, I think that's pretty obvious. He said the positive identification of the body has reopened investigation into the case. So now that they have her identified, that's kind of what my mission was too when I originally contacted down there. I was thinking, man, if we can identify her, that might lead to somebody. The Wyoming State Crime Lab made the identification March 25th, which is about 20 days before this article, after matching fingerprints samples with those taken from the body. And you know what I think is that she was probably a little bit more preserved than she would have been, because she was found in April, but up in Wyoming, I would imagine it's pretty cold up until maybe March sometime. But apparently, let's see, March 25th, matching fingerprint samples. McLean disappeared from her Gering home on the night of February 7th, 1978. So she was found 2 months and a week later, and that's MUNTS for months. All right. So McLean disappeared from her Gering home. Well, without saying her Gering home, let's see where Gering is. That might be even a little closer. I thought I saw Gering. Hold on. There it is. Nah, it's right there. Right in Scotts Bluff there. But distance-wise, as the crow flies, it's 67 miles, but I bet you that's more like 85 driving. So it's not far at all. So let's see. Her husband Tom reported her missing the following day, and local law authorities investigated the disappearance. Oliver said her car was found in Scotts Bluff parking lot a few days after her disappearance. It's almost like she was abducted. All right, now we're moving on to 1984. About a year and a half later, convict confesses to the slaying. But watch who this is, and if you want to believe this is him, then I think you're crazy. Scotts Bluff County Sheriff David Schlieve says he is certain convicted mass murderer Henry Lee Lucas killed a former Gering Elementary School teacher in 1978. Lucas confessed to Schlieve and Deputy Jim Lawson in a Texas jail last Thursday that he strangled Stella McLean, 45, of Gering, the night she disappeared, February 7th, 1978. Her decapitated body was found in a ditch off Interstate 25, 2 miles north of Wheatland, on April 15th of the same year, but it was not positively identified until March 25th, 1983. The sheriff's official spoke with Lucas, 47, last Wednesday. Come on, Blue! And Thursday in Georgetown, Texas. And on Saturday, they interviewed convicted murderer Otis Toole, remember his other partner, 38 of Tallahassee, Florida. Lawman said evidence indicates Toole was at the scene of the crime. Both Lucas and Toole have been sentenced to death. There is no doubt in my mind that we have talked to the individuals responsible for the senseless crime, Lawson said. The Platte County Attorney's Office in Wheatland look how slow that is. May prosecute the pair, Schlieve said, but he added it's doubtful they would ever stand trial in Wyoming because there are about 70 other murder charges facing them. Schlieve said Lucas and Toole admitted to the 194 murders, with the victims ranging in age from 4 to 80. Yeah. Listen, serial killers usually have like an MO of type, that kind of thing. Basically what's going on with Henry Lee Lucas and Toole is they were used as a clearinghouse so that law enforcement agencies around the country could clear off their books these long-lasting murders that were eating up their time. Okay, so what they would do is this is in the documentary on Netflix, I totally believe it. I think it's Netflix. I can't remember where it was actually, but they would, let's say you were a detective in, one of these little towns here, in Gering, for example. Well, then you send down all the information to the Texas Rangers that were there, all of them, and you got them familiar with it, sent them the pictures, photographs, everything. Then those Rangers would go get Henry Lee Lucas, sit down and show him all the photographs, tell him all about the case, and in doing so, hey, did you do this one too? Oh yeah, as long as I get that milkshake, thanks. Yeah, so he would say, yeah, I did it, and he would know enough of the details. Then, when the law enforcement agents from Gering would go all the way out there to Texas to visit Henry Lee Lucas, well, by God, he knew stuff that only the killer would know. Right? So the thing is all these people started piling in, and like Orange Socks was another case. He didn't do that one. I have a feeling that Henry Lee Lucas might not even be a serial killer. Meaning he might not have killed the prerequisite number of people. No serial killers, very rare. It's like, I don't even know if there is one. Unless it's an accidental killing. Or just a killing out of convenience of some sort. Would have a range from 4 to 80. That just doesn't make any sense. I think just knowing that is a strange thing. But anyways, I don't think he did this one. So moments after taking a look at her photograph, yeah, there he goes. Lucas admitting to the Nebraska authorities. Well, right, because he'd already seen the photograph before the Nebraska authorities got there. When he saw her picture, he knew, Dlive said. Then Lucas gave a detailed, accurate description of the events on the night of the crime that matched 40 different pieces of evidence. Right, but those same 40 pieces of evidence you sent to the Texas Rangers, right? For example, Lucas recalled correctly the clothing Mrs. McLean wore on the night of her disappearance and drew an accurate map of the murder scene. You have to have had been there. Yeah, I totally agree with that you would have had to have been there. But if you weren't fed the information, you would have had to be there to know this stuff. On the night of her disappearance, Dlive said a car carrying Miss McLean Lucas Toole and Toole's juvenile nephew and niece Frank and Becky Powell was driven into Wyoming and stopped outside of Wheatland on I-25. Dlive said Lucas told him he killed Mrs. McLean in the ditch where her body was found. Wait, what's this? Let me go back there. On the night of her disappearance, Dlive said a car carrying Miss McLean, Lucas, Toole, and Toole's juvenile nephew. Okay. So there's just saying it's her alone with 2 serial killers and the kids of one of them. It was driven into Wyoming and stopped outside of Wheatland on I-25. Dlive said Lucas told him he killed Mrs. McLean in the ditch where her body was found. As for a motive, Dlive said, Miss Lucas said to me, I got tired of her, so I killed her. Yeah, see, really? Okay. Dlive and Lawson said they are confident Lucas was telling the truth. They said they purposely led him astray at times during questioning, but Lucas corrected the lawman's deceptive statements. Based on the interviews, Dlive and Lucas and Toole admitted to killing 10 people in Nebraska. Okay. Boy, they got a good clearinghouse that day. We got 10 off the books! You know, and because he was so accurate on this one, we'll go ahead and not even ask him any questions about the other 9. We'll just go ahead and call it a day. Yeah. That's what it feels like to me. All right, so now we're in 1985. Again, Wyoming officials, Lucas lied about killing. Ah, what a shocker, huh? Convicted murderer Henry Lee Lucas lied when he said he killed a Nebraska teacher in Wyoming in 1978. A Wyoming law enforcement official says, we have satisfied ourselves that he was not in the area at the time, said Bill Olmsted. Hold on a second. Yeah. Let's see. We've satisfied ourselves that he was not in the area at the time, said Bill Olmsted, Special Agent Supervisor for the Wyoming Division of Criminal Investigation. We are just dead in the water on this case. We don't have any new leads. A Nebraska law enforcement officer who also investigated the case says he remains convinced that Lucas killed Stella McLean, a 45-year-old Gehring teacher who was abducted February 7, 1978. Her decapitated body was discovered April 15, 1978 in a ditch north of Wheatland, Wyoming, which is in Platte County. Scottsbluff County Sheriff David Slieve said he would be flabbergasted if he found that Lucas didn't kill Mrs. McLean. Slieve said he thinks Lucas is guilty because he gave us much information, so much information, that only the killer would have known. Lucas, a drifter who has been convicted of 10 murders, received nationwide attention in 1983 when he told Texas Rangers that he was involved in more than 300 murders across the country. Lucas later said he lied about most of the murders, touching off an investigation by the Texas Attorney General's office. Remember, that's in all. It's kind of weird to read this because this is all in the documentary, and they sort of went after that prosecutor. Texas Attorney General Jim Maddox said recently that Lucas took a lot of people for a ride. If I were the police officers around this country, I would reopen virtually every case that was cleared by Henry Lucas confessions. God, I totally agree. I haven't even read this article yet. After interviewing Lucas last year, Wyoming and Nebraska authorities said they believe that he killed Mrs. McLean. But Olmsted said Friday that officials in his office changed their minds after interviewing people who knew Lucas in West Virginia and after conferring with Maddox's office. Wyoming investigators made calls to West Virginia after the Omaha World Herald obtained information indicating that Lucas was in that state about the same time Mrs. McLean disappeared. Maddox's office is expected to release a report on the results of its investigation. The report is expected to include a detailed chronology that may help local police decide whether Lucas could have been at the scene of murders committed in their areas. Platte County Attorney Doug Bryant said he doesn't consider the McLean case closed because no one has been charged with the murder. Bryant said he read Lucas' confession and found some points that may have some basis in fact, and some things that were inconsistent with the facts. Bryant said he was troubled by Lucas's ability to recall details of the crime that he allegedly committed nearly 6 years earlier. Yes, that would be troubling because that means he was just fed the information just prior to you guys getting there. One of the worst what, Lanky Tor? I don't think he's... I think he's one of the least worst. I mean, he's like... he didn't really kill any of these people. I think he's just a con man. You know, grifter. You know, like that YouTuber. Yeah. There goes my stomach. Right, but he didn't kill all these people, Lanky Tor. He's not really a great person, but you must not have watched the documentary recently. I think you would think totally different. I'm not saying you'd think he was a great person, but he's nowhere near as bad as like a Jeffrey Dahmer or somebody like that. Basically, like the last article I just read, virtually every single one of his killings should be re-looked at again. A Wyoming law enforcement official says convicted murderer Henry Lee Lucas, this is the next day, lied when he said he killed Nebraska teacher in Wyoming in 1978. We have satisfied ourselves that he was not in the area at the time, said Bill Olmsted, Special Agent Supervisor for Wyoming Division of Criminal Investigation. We are just dead in the water. A Nebraska law enforcement officer who also investigated the case says he remains convinced. So, anyways, that's kind of where it all. So, if in my book, it's still an open case. It's an unsolved homicide, but they're probably more than happy to. No, it's not a series. It's a documentary. Well, yeah, I guess it's a series. Yeah, it's a long documentary with parts. But yeah, it's not a fiction, or it's not a fictional show. Yeah, you got milkshakes, Susanna. Yeah, you got milkshakes out of the deal. But yeah, this is our last day, everybody, just prior to our donation night. But you guys have already been so generous during the month that we're doing pretty well at this point. But tomorrow night's the big night. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to try to get to 30,000 this year. And when I say that, that's a reality, not some sort of, yeah. It's some kind of, it's not a grifter move. Yeah, you guys got to check it out. Okay, so some of these other ones are pretty short right here. I'm gonna go to this one over here. That's the shortest one that I have. So this one is Michelli Marie Wilson, and this is in Ohio in 2000. I could barely find anything. I finally found some, but and that was after I removed Marie from the search. Yeah, it'll be great. If I have nights like this, it'll be $300 though. Although every night this month has been pretty good, except this one so far. All right, here we go. We got teen recalls finding bodies of mom, her boyfriend, and mother on a Mother's Day visit. So here we go. Teen recalls finding bodies of mom. So she was actually. The murder was on the 14th, but there was no articles on the 15th. This is the 16th here. Man, what's going on with it? Police make no arrests in shooting deaths of Barberton couple discovered Sunday. I bet you anything this is like an affair situation. Delilah Rollins expected to spend Sunday evening celebrating Mother's Day with her mom. Instead, the 17-year-old experienced every child's worst nightmare. There, I'm going to put this in here really quick. Hey, thank you, the hawk. I should have like a little hawk sound that comes out. I can't do it. Oh, shit. Alright, what do we got? Ah, crap. Alright, ready to go. Hey, thanks, Ali Sparkles from Australia. Instead, the 17-year-old experienced every child's worst nightmare. When she arrived at her mother's home in South Barberton, she found her mother, Michelli Mickey Marie Wilson, 37, dead in her bed. Lying beside her was the body of Wilson's boyfriend, Edward Eddie Jackson Rhodes, 30. He's also an unsolved case, obviously, right? Both victims had been shot once in the head, and both had their heads covered with a pillow. Wow. That's weird. It's almost like two people. Thank you, Noreen Gardner. Keep it up, 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 keep it up. Both victims had been shot once in the head, and both had their heads covered with a pillow. The double homicide compounded personal tragedy for Delilah and her brother, Samuel Rollins, 20, 13 years ago. Their father, Samson Rollins. Wait, let's see. For Delilah and her brother, Samuel Rollins, 20. Okay, so the double homicide compounded personal tragedy for Delilah and her brother, Samuel Rollins, who's 20. 13 years ago, their father, Samson Rollins, was shot dead in the same house. Oh, Jesus. I didn't even know that was part of this story. What in the hell is that? How's that? Well, they must have solved that one, I would imagine. Barberton police yesterday said they have many leads and have interviewed many people, but were unsure of a motive. Why would you even be living there, to be honest with you? Would any of you live in the same house that your dad got shot in? Police say murders weren't random act. Arrests have been made last night. This is the next page of that. Arrests had been made last... It must have said no. Let me go back to the preview. Yeah. No arrests have been made last night. Barberton Safety Director Leon Rick said he hopes detectives might find the killer soon. It's kind of frightening, really, Rick said. Somebody snuffs out two people. You really don't want them walking around. But Detective Bureau Commander Lieutenant Don Adamson said the double murder was not a random act, but appeared to be aimed at these individuals in the house. Adamson said police had not yet established the death or the time of death and would not release any details. However, Delilah and her cousin, Melinda Marks, 24, of Barberton, described the scene. When they arrived Sunday to wish Wilson a happy Mother's Day at her home at, here we go, 335 Bell Street, and this must be in Akron, maybe? Oh, Barberton, there it is. So that's the house. 2 shootings in this one little damn little house here. That's got to be new. That's a newer house. That wasn't there. Let me just see what it looks like. And well, I don't know. It could be actually, because this is only 2000, right? Yeah, 2000. Let me see. 1992. 2000. Okay, yeah, it's new. This is, yeah, you know what? After both those murders, they said, "The hell with this," and they tore that sucker down because this is 2003 and it's not there. This is October 2010. I think I still see something, maybe. That could actually just be the ground underneath because there's no 3D depth to it. You see how these all have shadows on them? Right there. This is the only one there that doesn't. So that might be right when they tore it down, and, you know, maybe they got rid of the cement. I don't know. It's hard to say. It could be the house, though. But if you look at all the pictures, all the other houses have shadows on the side, and this one doesn't have anything like that. So I think that might be remnants. But anyways, it's not there, not there, not there, not there. And there you go. Now somebody built a home there in 2006, and that's the one that's currently there. So we don't really get to see the home that was there at the time. But I think what you can probably just guess at is it had a look more like one of these types. You know, sort of a, like some of these I think are probably at least from that time frame. So that's the spot. It's not the house. Okay, Delilah called out, "Mom!" There's no response. The two women made their way to the front bedroom where they could see Wilson and Rhodes lying on the bed. "My mom was in a nightgown. It looked like she was sleeping," Delilah said. "But Eddie's feet were hanging off the bed, and he was in his work boots and sweat clothes." His work clothes. Said sweat clothes and then dash his work clothes. Delilah, a junior in night school at Barberton High School, said she lifted up the pillow, saw her mother's pale face, and ran out of the room. The two women ran 2 doors away to Wilson's brother's home, Herbert Wilson, 41, called police, and then meanwhile, Delilah ran back to her mother's house. "I was trying to wake my mother up," she said. Wilson's mother, Patricia Ross, 60, said she knew something was wrong Sunday because her daughter never showed up to visit with her. Wilson was the type of child who'd be right there on Mother's Day, Ross said. Ross said her daughter would never allow a gun in the house because of how her husband was killed. Samson Rollins, 24, was shot and killed by Ronald Brandt of Akron in 1987, about 13 years, after an argument. Brandt was convicted of voluntary manslaughter with a gun specification and sentenced to 13 to 25 years in prison. Brandt died while incarcerated in 1991. Wilson loved animals and had 4 dogs, Ross said. "Oh, the dogs, wow!" Don't forget to feel overly emotional about that the dogs were left alone. She last worked at a gas station in Wadsworth, but stopped working about 2 months ago after Rhodes got out of prison and offered to support her, Ross said. Rhodes was recently released from Mansfield Correctional Institution. He was sentenced in 1995 on 2 counts of burglary. Rhodes also served time in Southeast. Yeah, see, there's something to do with this guy. She last worked at a gas station. So Rhodes was recently released from Mansfield Correctional Institution. He was sentenced in 1995 on 2 counts of burglary. Rhodes also served time in the Southeastern Correctional Institution for a 1988 conviction on theft and burglary. Wonder if he had a partner that he threw under the bus. Ross said she knew Rhodes since he was a boy living across the parking lot from her at Van Buren Homes in South Barberton. Lately, he was trying to get straightened out, she said. Rhodes worked full-time at B&C Industries in Barberton, and he did roofing and car repairs on the side. The couple was fixing up Wilson's house and planned to move to Texas as soon as Rhodes completed his parole requirements. Neighbors said they did not hear anything unusual. I mean, this is absolutely a hit, right? Pillow on the head, boom. "I'd always seen them holding hands," he said. Oh wait, it says, Ellen Stevens, who lives next door, said she never knew Wilson and Rhodes to fight. She said not long ago Rhodes bought Wilson an engagement ring. Man, that must have been a nightmare. See, these are all cases nobody will ever talk about. You'll never ever again hear this one. Double murder case baffles area police. 10 days after a double homicide in South Barberton, police have made no arrests and are seeking the public's help. The bodies of Michelli McKee M. Wilson, 37, and her boyfriend Edward Eddie J. Rhodes, 30, were found in their bed on Mother's Day, May 14th. Both victims have been shot once in the head. Since the murder, 7 Barberton detectives have been working 12-hour days following leads, talking to acquaintances of victims, and looking for clues. And the next day after that, in reaction to a double homicide in their neighborhood last week, South Barberton residents met yesterday to discuss what they believe is a growing wave of crime in their area. Police have made no arrests in the May 14th murder of Michelli M. Wilson, 37, and her boyfriend Edward J. Rhodes, 30. Both were found in their bed at 335 Bell Street. About 25 members of the South Barberton Neighborhood Improvement Council packed the meeting rooms. So everybody's freaking out. And then I'm going to just move forward to... Then in 2014, 14 years later, there was a longer article, and we get to see pictures and that kind of thing. So here we go. That's her. This is in the Akron Beacon Journal. So that's her. Delilah D. Rollins tried last week to attend the funeral of 2 teens killed in the New Year's Eve shooting spree in Barberton. She pulled into the nearly full parking lot of Apostolic Church and soon was overcome with an avalanche of emotions ranging from deep empathy for the grieving mother of Ashley Carpenter and David Carpenter Kohler, to her own vivid memory finding her murdered mother and later seeing her body at the funeral home. Her thoughts spiraled to the safety of her own 2 children and herself until she was so distraught that she could not get out of her car. It hit home, said Rollins, 31, whose mother, Michelli Mickey Wilson, 37, and her mother's boyfriend, Edward Rhodes, 30, were killed on Mother's Day in Barberton in May of 2000. I could just picture my mom laying there in the casket. Rollins briefly drove away from the church, then tried to gather herself. She returned one more time, but still could not find the strength to exit the car and go inside. She regrets not being able to share a moment with the teen's mother, Leah Carpenter. I felt so bad for that mom, Rollins said. That mom needed a hug. Rollins, a Barberton High School graduate, described herself as thrilled and relieved that 2 suspects have been charged with the killing spree. That also claimed 42-year-old John Kohler, but also frustrated that her mother's case remained unsolved. She lives daily with the hope. And here's a better picture you can see right here. There you go. What happened up there? Oh, it's Rebecca's birthday? Rebecca N?
Happy birthday to Rebecca N.
Wait, why do you say Rebecca, like N at the end? Just say Rebecca.
Because it's another Rebecca in here. Why can't I just sing it the way I want to sing it? Jesus.
Hello?
Well, you interrupted me. Okay, here we go. Happy birthday, Rebecca N. Happy birthday, Rebecca Ann. Happy birthday to Rebecca Ann. Happy birthday to you.
Whoa, what the hell was that?
Yeah, anyways. God, Mary Lou, she really held that note, and then it just, she lost it. Ah, poor Mary Lou, you know. She gave it a whirl, though. She gave it a whirl. Yeah. Okay, here we go. So, and the slaying of Rollins' mother wasn't even the first violent death in her family. Her father, Samson Rollins, 24, was shot to death on Father's Day. What do you think of that? Isn't that weird? Her father was shot on Father's Day, and then she was shot on Mother's Day. Yeah, what are the odds of something like that? In the same house, too. I think somebody was using that date, and it's unsolved. That's a little bit weird. Okay. You know, you wonder if it's somebody related to the person arrested for the first one, just paying them back for the loss of not having their family members. That's just weird. Okay. Her father, Samson Rollins, 24, was shot to death on Father's Day in June 1987. One of his friends, Ronald Brandt, was convicted of the voluntary manslaughter and was sentenced to 13 to 25 in prison. He died in October 1991 at the Southern Ohio Correctional Facility. Rollins said she was inside the house as a 4-year-old when her father was slain. She remembers very little. Me and my brother were underneath the kitchen table, he said, of the vague memory from nearly 27 years ago. This is when the father was killed. She found the bodies of her mother and her boyfriend. I mean, look how crazy that is for that 4-year-old girl was under a table when her father was killed. And then she found her mother killed on Mother's Day in the same house as well. I mean, it's just, man. Something just feels kind of weird about this one, doesn't it? At this point. Rollins said she was inside the house as a 4-year-old when her father was killed, when he was 24 years old, the dad up there, Samson Rollins. She remembers very little about that. Me and my brother were underneath the kitchen table, she said, of the vague memory from 27 years ago. And this article here is 14 years after the murder of her mom. She found the bodies of her mother and her boyfriend in 2000 when she stopped by their Barberton home to wish her mom a happy Mother's Day. Come on, that can't be random. I mean, I guess it can't, here's the thing. It could be possibly random. But let me ask you, what are the odds of that one? That this lady right here that's actually talking, the daughter, probably, I don't know which one it is. It actually could be this person right here, just with an older date. Let's see. Family photo of Michelle. No, that's Michelli Wilson right there, with her daughter Delilah Rollins. So that's her right there. But it must have been 3 years or so after this shot where her husband was killed. But what do you think the odds are of that? That this lady right here, this daughter, has, both of her parents, by the way, were murdered in the same house, 13 years apart. But the father was murdered on Father's Day, and the mother was murdered on Mother's Day. You know, that's, I think that's astronomical. It would even have been weird if the mother was killed on Father's Day and the father was killed on Mother's Day. But this just seems like somebody did this intentionally on that date. See, I love going through these without reading them first. Because, it's just sort of like, this is surprising to me, too. I didn't have any idea about this. This one guy out there on YouTube's talking about, just to bring up the Delphi case, about, wow, isn't it weird that they were found on Valentine's Day? And the answer to that is no, not really. Now, if they'd been killed on Valentine's Day, that might be significant. But they weren't killed on Valentine's Day. In that case, they were killed on the 13th. They were just found on the 14th. They could have been found on the 15th, 16th, 17th, or 18th. Nobody knew when they were going to be found. All right, so it doesn't matter what day that they were found, okay? All right, so in this case, I think this is like the odds of this being random are astronomical. Everybody loved her, said Atkins, who still carries a piece of metal inscribed with Mickey on it that Wilson made. Now, a mother of two, Rollins works full-time at an area fast food outlet, something she has done at several restaurants since she was 16 years old. Her children know that the losses she has endured have taken a toll on her. You are sad, Mom. Her mother, you are sad, Mom, her daughter often says. Rollins has never been, I was having a hard time reading that, so the daughter says, you are sad, Mom. Rollins has never been through counseling and says she probably suffers from PTSD. Wouldn't doubt that at all. She said she stays strong. I'm a tough cookie, but she keeps most people at arm's length. Yeah, I can see that. You just put up a shield, I guess, Rollins said. I don't let people get too close. Rollins keeps a large 3-ring binder stuffed with news stories and photographs of her parents and her family. I want it solved, she said of the murders. It's not right for my kids not to have a grandma. Barberton police spokesman Marty Eberhardt said the department followed up on the leads at the time of the killings, but none proved to be productive. He said police encouraged anyone with information to step forward to report any information about the slayings of Michelli Wilson or Edward Rhodes. Call, I guess these numbers might still be good, 330-848-6709 or 330-745-2181. Rollins said an arrest and conviction finally would give her closure. Yeah, wow. I think it's absolutely not random that they were killed on those 2 different days. The father on Father's Day, the mother on Mother's Day, in the same house, 13 years apart. And the same daughter was a witness to both of them. And no, she's not the killer. Okay, nice. Yeah, so these are the pictures of them. This is the boyfriend right there. And then her picture is right here. All right. Man, I'm going to have to throw myself in jail here, right? To get on to the next part. That's right. So the next story we'll make it to once I get bailed out of jail, because I am stuck now until I'm going to have to use it for that on nights like this. Let's see. And I'm going to be drinking from the Gray Hughes Investigates tumbler that I don't have for sale. I need a break anyways. Yes, hit that like button, everybody.
Gray, were you mean?
Yeah. Well, that's not me. That's you. Who's this? I'm John Boy.
No, I'm John Boy. No, I'm Mary Lou. You're John Boy, right?
Yeah, that's right. I'm John Boy. And
I'm Mary Lou.
And this is Gray, right? Yeah.
Gray, you're so mean.
Yeah, that's what they tell me on a daily basis. On a daily basis. God, what time did I start this? Yeah. Terrible. Oh, it's just got a bunch of stuff on it. One of the freaks made it for me. See that? Look at that. Right there. All kinds of stuff. Hey, Cindy Lean, thanks. That'll get me a bar of soap. Look at. Yeah, I don't really have it. He dozed off and woke up. Yep, so mean. Yeah, it was nothing really mean. Truthfully. I'm just trying to... unfortunately, with what we're trying to do on the channel, I have to constantly, you know... I don't know. I used to just do the shows and whatever happened, but now we've got goals. I gotta raise funds each month to build up the DNA fund and charity, and also supporting my channel. So unfortunately, that's what it is now. Yeah, you guys are in jail is what it is. Well, anyway, maybe I'll just hold on to the next story. I can do this work in the. I've got a lot of work to do. And the other one was the one that I wasn't even sure why it's still listed as an unsolved case on the Ohio website. Hey, thanks, Gene Fish. There we go. That's enough for a taxi ride down the block. I'll jump in there and see what happens. Yeah. Yeah, so I found this one. Hey, thanks, Lori Fisher. I found, on this case, it's a lady named Shantae V Smith. And there's just this crazy... There was hardly any articles on it, except this other guy came up. And then you find her name all the time associated with this other guy. But her name never really came up at all. It was strange. Here, let me put that in there. So it's 2129 Collingwood Boulevard. And this is in Toledo, Ohio. Probably another building just leveled. Man, look at this. Just let me see if there was anything there at back in time. Yep, look at that. Yep, all that. Maybe even right there. Yeah, I bet you it was right over here. This is in 2000 also. That's 1993. That's September of 2000. So definitely still some stuff going on right there. 2003, still there. 2004, still there in 2005. 2006. 2009. I bet you if you went to Google Maps, let's see. I bet if you went to Google Maps, you could put that in there. That's not Google Maps, it's Google Earth that I use. But sometimes Google Maps, though, has sometimes better, has a street view that's different because it has a historical street view. Okay, so look at right there, you've got, at this point, you've got a, looks like they're even building something there. Let's just make sure I'm in the same spot here. Yeah, right, so you got that church, and then right there, nothing, right? But then up here, you've got a historical street view, and this one should work here. And there we go. Boom. So now you actually can see what the buildings look like where she was found over here. Right there. And there might even be one in 2011. Yep, still there. It's a little bit newer looking. So that's one of the things that's good about Google Maps is that they have historical street view, and it's a bunch of it. So now that's a 2015. So between 2011 and 2015, they raised those buildings. And that's in 2018, 2019, still nothing there. But anyways, that's what it looked like back in the day, right there. So, there we go. I wish Google Earth had that. Okay. So, here we go. Shantae Smith, whose body was found in her home at 2129 Collingwood Boulevard, had been dead 1 to 2 days. She had a blow to the right eye. Miss Smith's mother, Teresa, found her, she had a blow to the right eye. Miss Smith's mother, Teresa, found her in a pool of blood. She went to check on her daughter because she had not heard from her and was worried. Dr. Barnett released her findings yesterday on another Toledo homicide victim. The decomposed body of Valerie Jones, that's a different person. All right. And then that was January 8th is the day she was killed. Then November 2000. Then we start seeing this stuff about prisoner charged with aggravated murder mistakenly released. So I don't really know what's going on in this case because it is Shantae V Smith. It's got to be the same person. I mean, it's even in Toledo, Ohio. Authorities were searching Tuesday for a prisoner charged with aggravated murder who was mistakenly released from the Lucas County Jail because of paperwork error, the sheriff said. Grady Brinkley, 33, was released Friday afternoon after the prosecutor consolidated charges against him, including aggravated murder and aggravated robbery. The old charges were dropped, and Brinkley was released after a deputy apparently didn't realize that the new charges had taken their place. Brinkley faces the death penalty in connection with the slashing death of his girlfriend, Shantae Smith. That's who we're talking about. 18, whose body was found January 8th, that's the same date, in her Toledo home. We want the public to know that the alleged murder is out and about in the community. A clerk discovered the error about noon Monday, and the sheriff's office started a nationwide search for Brinkley, who had been in custody for several months and was awaiting trial, said Major John Tharp. I couldn't even find where he was arrested. All we can say is It shouldn't have happened, Tharp said. We're going to continue aggressively to search and pick him up. It was an error on our part, no excuses. Lieutenant Rick Reed of Toledo Police Department said Brinkley is considered dangerous because he might try or might have tried to rob someone because he had only 45 cents when he was released. We're going to go back and look at some reports about some crimes that appeared over the weekend. Anyways, yeah, they he just totally escaped, I guess. But it sounds like they've got the right guy. They've got somebody. I don't know why it's listed on this website as an unsolved homicide. Prisoner mistakenly released 8 months ago is captured. So they did capture the guy. A Toledo prisoner charged with aggravated murder and mistakenly released from jail 8 months ago was captured Wednesday in Illinois. Grady Brinkley, 33, was found during a routine traffic stop in suburban Chicago. An Illinois State Police trooper pulled over a car Brinkley was riding on an expressway in South Holland. The trooper became suspicious when Brinkley gave the trooper a different name when the driver had provided, Kozak said. So, anyways, they captured him. And then we move forward in time. And then after he was captured, and then a year later he was on trial. Jury quickly recommends death. I think that's the right date here. No, this is, a year later, October 2nd. Juror took 30 minutes to recommend the death sentence for a man convicted of killing his ex-girlfriend. Common Pleas Judge James Jensen will sentence Grady Brinkley today. Brinkley was convicted last week of aggravated murder in the death of Shantae Smith. Yeah, and then in 2004, So I don't really understand why they're saying, like she's listed on this page, but sentence of death is upheld. The Ohio Supreme Court on Wednesday upheld the aggravated murder conviction and death sentence. The court ruled 6-1 in favor of the death sentence for Grady Brinkley. Brinkley, 37, killed Smith in her apartment January 7, 2000, then stole her bank card and coat and fled to Chicago. The court rejected Brinkley's arguments that prosecutors improperly brought a capital case by including a charge that Brinkley had robbed a diner several weeks before the murder. All right. So now we're moving on to August 2005. Nancy guards fired after suicide. So in prison there was this riot going on, or not a riot, like a, I'm not even sure why I said the word riot. I just read a little bit of this before. A convicted killer on Ohio's death row, I was thinking of this other case at that second, who committed suicide in May, likely was dead more than 3 hours before his body was found, indicating a breakdown in the system. The state said it fired 2 prison guards over the handling of the May 7th suicide of Martin Coliser, sentenced to die for killing a Youngstown police officer in 2003. Hey, thank you, Michelle Nicholas. Okay, let's see. Under prison procedures, a guard should have checked on Coliser twice. See, he got upset that they were being transferred. But then right over here, it says right here, Coliser told a few inmates he was going to commit suicide over the state decision to move death row to Ohio State Penitentiary in Youngstown, fearing for his life since he killed a Youngstown police officer. That inmate, Grady Brinkley, that's this guy that we're talking about, of Lucas County, said Whitaker made checks at 10:15, 1:30, 5:20. Several other inmates made similar statements. Brinkley stated that this was normal routine and they know they are supposed to make 2 rounds per hour, but they don't. So they didn't do their job and the guy killed himself. And then, well, let's see, let me move through this. Yeah, I mean, he's still like making the paper at various times. See right here? Like, this is him right there. Ronald Phillips, Raymond Tibbetts, Robert Van Hook, and Grady Brinkley. So that's him right there. Death row inmates test secrecy. So, I mean, it's not really that interesting here. They're trying to... what these guys are trying to do is argue against the constitutionality of lethal injection. Thank you, Emily Flotilla and Michelle Miklas. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Okay. There's that crazy teacher. All right, I've got this long freaking PDF file here. I think it was in his death sentence attempt to get out of it. But I think that it might be interesting to read some of this because it actually has a breakdown of what actually happened in the case, you know, with all the accurate information. All right, so let's see. This happened in 2000. Yeah. So let's see, what are they talking about right here? A pretrial hearing was scheduled for January 6, 2000. And Brinkley's trial was scheduled... Wow, so that he was actually... This is before she was killed. She was killed on January 7th. So what's going on here? There must be a motive up here. Oh yeah, we gotta go through this. Oh man, I bet she got killed to keep her quiet about something. You guys want to go over this? I just want to see what the hell it's going to be saying. Let me know. No, the cop was the other case. That was the guy that was in prison who killed himself. Alright, here we go. On November 6, 1999, Grady Snoop Brinkley, defendant appellant, robbed Rick's City Diner in Toledo, and police pursued and arrested him that same afternoon. So on November 6, 1999, just 6 weeks before this murder here. On December 17, 1999, Brinkley's girlfriend, Shantae Smith, posted bond for him. Wow. So she actually posted bond for him and was released from pretrial confinement. So he didn't have to stay in there. Wow. Wouldn't it be sad if her bail is how she got killed? That's some crazy crap right there. On January 7, 2000, Brinkley killed Smith in her apartment by cutting her throat. Then he stole her ATM card and winter coat and fled to Chicago. On January 13, 2000, the FBI arrested Brinkley in Chicago. Thereafter, Brinkley was convicted of the aggravated robbery of the City Diner and the aggravated robbery and aggravated murder of Smith and was sentenced to death. In November 1999, Brinkley worked at Rick's City Diner on Monroe Street in Toledo. Though scheduled, Brinkley did not report for work on November 6th, but he arrived at the diner at 1 p.m. and told the staff that he was waiting for the owner. At times, Brinkley waited inside the diner and joked with Marissa Brown, the hostess. At other times, he waited outside with Olivia Hunter, who had driven him to the diner. After the 2 p.m. closing time, which seems kind of early. Brown counted the money in the cash register, placed a bank deposit slip and the day's proceeds of $2,211 into a paper bag and put the paper bag into her orange purse. So that was the person who drove. Wait. Joked with Marissa Brown, the hostess. Okay. And then Brown counted the money. So she's the one that put that in her purse. After Brown got into her car, Brinkley came up with a silver gun. Right, so she was going to take the money to the bank with the receipt. And then he pulls up outside. He was just waiting around for this deposit time. And then he ran up to the car with a silver gun and told Brown to give her the bag. Brown thought he was joking and slapped the gun out of her face. In response, Brinkley cocked the gun back and then punched her and told her he wasn't playing. So she gave him the bag. Brinkley then demanded her orange purse and car keys and told her to get out of her car and run. Hunter confirmed that Brinkley had a small silver handgun with him that day. After Hunter and Brinkley drove off, Brown went back into the diner and told the cook Snoop robbed us. The cook noticed that Brown's mouth was full of blood and she was all scared. Toledo police were called and responded. Hunter testified that after Brinkley got back into her car, he told her to drive him to a Greyhound. So that's the lady that drove him there. He then changed his mind and directed Hunter to drive to a house on Junction Street. Once there, Brinkley introduced Hunter to his girlfriend, Shantae Smith, and gave the orange purse to an older man. Then Hunter drove Brinkley to an apartment complex in Toledo. Brinkley's the killer. Police later recovered the purse, which contained the city's diner bank deposit slip, from a trash can behind the Junction City house. After talking with witnesses at the city diner, police traced Hunter and Brinkley to the Toledo apartment complex and arrested them that afternoon. Police found $800 hidden in Brinkley's sock and recovered $400 from Hunter. However, police never recovered the balance of the city diner receipts of approximately $1,011. On December 3rd, 1999, Brinkley was arraigned on the city diner robbery charges. So on December 3rd, he was arraigned, and the bond was set at $2,000. You know what's weird is you sort of wonder if the girlfriend actually used as part of the bond the $1,011. So Shantae Smith, she might have been told, "Hey, listen, here's $1,000 of it," because they never recovered that, right? But maybe it was used for bond. So a pretrial hearing was scheduled for January 6, 2000, and Brinkley's trial was scheduled for January 18, 2000. Yeah. Huh? Okay. Brinkley was confined in county jail from November 6th until being released on bond on December 17th. Brinkley's 18-year-old girlfriend, Smith, changed her life after Brinkley's arrest. She moved into an apartment on Collingwood, started a new job, and met new co-workers and friends. Lamont Petaway and Valerie Vasquez. Smith told Vasquez that she wanted to be free from Brinkley, and she told Vasquez and Petaway that she was afraid of Brinkley. Smith became romantically involved with Petaway. They planned to live together and talked of marriage. While in the county jail, Brinkley talked with fellow inmate Samuel Miller about the city diner robbery. Brinkley told Miller that he had waited on Brown to come out and stuck the pistol in her face and took the money from her. Brinkley told Miller that the gun was real. Brinkley told Miller that Brinkley's girlfriend Smith had visited him every week during most of November, but less frequently after Thanksgiving. Brinkley also told Miller that Smith was sleeping with a co-worker and riding back and forth to work with him. So that pissed him off, I guess. And she wanted to know something. Was Brinkley going to do anything to her if she got him out on bond? Brinkley told Miller that he played along with Smith so she can go ahead and pay the bond. But when he got out, he was going to hit a lick, i.e. get some cash, and he wasn't coming back to court on the robbery charge. Instead, he was going back home to Chicago. Brinkley also said, "I'm going to kill that biatch," that's what he said, "before I leave town." Jeez. On December 17, 1999, Smith withdrew $2,000 from her Huntington bank account. Yeah, so the victim, Shantae Smith, took $2,000 from her Huntington bank account and arranged with the bail bonds company to post a $20,000 bond to secure Brinkley's release. Smith and Brinkley each personally guaranteed payment of $20,000 if Brinkley did not show up for future court appearances. Man, that was a really bad mistake of Smith. Brinkley was released that day, and after his release, he stayed with Smith at her Collingwood apartment. On January 6, 2000, at approximately 12:35, Smith withdrew $50 from her bank account using her Huntington Bank automatic teller machine card. That day, Smith worked her normal shift at 3 p.m. until 11. In the early morning of January 7th, Petaway dropped her off at home. That's her boyfriend. Smith never arrived at work that afternoon. On January 6, 2000, Brinkley did not appear for his pretrial hearing on the City Diner robbery charge, and the trial court issued a capious warrant for Brinkley's arrest. Ameritech business records established that on January 6th and 7th, several telephone calls were made from Smith's home telephone to the Greyhound bus terminal, and on January 7th, a call was made to the Huntington Bank. Also on January 7th, a call was placed from the Chicago residence of Brinkley's mother to Smith's telephone number. Huntington Bank records show that on January 7th, 2000, someone tried 16 times to use Smith's Huntington ATM card in various ATMs to access her bank funds. These attempts failed because no valid personal identification number was entered. 9 of these attempts to use Smith's ATM card occurred between 3:37 and 3:42 at the Madison Avenue ATM that Smith herself had successfully used the previous day. Photographs taken at the ATM do not fully reveal the face of the person who tried to withdraw funds. A Huntington Bank investigator explained that the ATM cameras set for users of average height did not capture the user's face because the user was too tall. Brinkley is 6'4" tall. The photograph do depict a male wearing a winter coat identical to a coat that Smith owned. Smith's blue winter coat was later recovered from Brinkley in Chicago. According to Greyhound Bus Company business records, a prepaid ticket was purchased in Chicago at 3:29 on January 7, 2000 and was electronically forwarded for pickup in Toledo. The password needed to pick up the ticket was Alberta, the name of Brinkley's mother. The ticket was issued for a Grady Brinkley to travel to Chicago and was in fact used to travel on the 6:50 p.m. bus from Toledo to Chicago that night. Bus terminal surveillance video depicts Brinkley in the terminal at 6:29 when the ticket was claimed. A Greyhound manager identified Brinkley as the person who had claimed the ticket. Huntington Bank records reveal that the two unsuccessful attempts to use Smith's ATM card occurred at 6:33 and 6:34. After 7 p.m. on January 8, 2000, Smith's mother forced her way into her daughter's locked apartment through a back door, found her daughter's body, and called police. Deputy Coroner Dr. Diane Scala Barnett concluded that at the time Smith's mother found her, Smith had been dead for more than 30 hours. The killer had attempted to strangle Smith, rendering her unconscious, and had then cut her throat. Smith's body rested on a quilt, and police discovered at least 4 partial shoe prints in blood on the quilt. DNA from the blood on the quilt exactly matched Smith's DNA. Brinkley's Nike tennis shoes were later recovered in Chicago. Ted Manesson, a forensic scientist for Ohio Bureau of Identification, compared Brinkley's tennis shoes with the bloody shoe prints. The patterns on Brinkley's shoes were identical to those in the bloody shoe prints, and Manesson could not find any differences that would allow him to eliminate Brinkley's shoe as having made the shoe prints. On a shelf near the kitchen, police found a handwritten note to the landlord worded as follows: "We'll be gone to Atlanta for 7 days to see my friend. Could you please not come fix my sink until I come back?" Oh, yeah. He's trying to keep somebody from going there. The note was dated 1/7/99, but maybe it was supposed to be 2000, and was signed with Smith's name. However, the handwriting on the note, including the purported signature, appears to be Brinkley. Moreover, police found Brinkley's left thumbprint on the note. No other evidence suggests that Smith had planned to go to Atlanta. Man, this is crazy. That's just, they got him nailed. Come on, you guys. Yeah. Police determined that the last person in the apartment before Smith's mother broke in had left through the locked front door. The apartment's back door had been locked from the inside with a security chain, and the front door had been locked from the outside with a key. On January 13, 2000, members of a fugitive task force arrested Brinkley at his mother's Chicago residence. When Brinkley was arrested, the weather was cold, and Brinkley put on a winter coat and a pair of size 15 Nike tennis shoes to walk to the FBI car. The coat looked odd on Brinkley because it was too small for his 6 feet 4 inch frame. Witnesses verified that the coat belonged to Smith. Smith had been wearing that coat when she withdrew ATM funds on January 6th. The person who tried to use her ATM card on January 7th had worn an identical coat. Yeah, so anyways, they have this guy nailed. So, yeah, I thought it was pretty interesting, though. I mean, that's the kind of detail they go through to actually completely bust somebody. But anyways, I'm gonna take off. So I appreciate you guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow. I can tell it's not really that interesting to a lot of people. There's hardly any talking. Nobody's really even discussing. So I'll try to find some better stories or whatever. But I am going to take off. I thought they were interesting to me, at least. But we'll see you guys tomorrow, and make sure you wash your hands, maintain your social distancing, wear a mask. Let's see, got to go over to the let me find, I got to get to this certain page here really quick. Yeah, I got other things I can review. Hold on. All right, so thank you to Jessica Schubach, Wanky Tor, One Sly Angel, The Hawk, Allie Sparkles, Noreen Gardner, Cindy Lean, Jean Fish, Lori Fisher, Emily Flotilla, Michelle Niklas, and Emily Flotilla again. All right, thank you. All right. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow night's our big night where we do the donations at the end of the month, and I'm trying to get to 3,000. Yeah, I'm tired. I know that. That's for damn sure. So anyways, we'll see you guys later, and make sure you wear your mask, maintain your social distancing, and wash your hands still, and get the vaccine when you can. I'm finally going to get mine on, what do you call it? I think Sunday, like 5 o'clock. Yeah, it's kind of a weird, like, how do you have a weird time for that? But it's going to happen. So, all right, everybody, thank you very much. And as I always say, everybody, until next time, be safe out there. Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector, flag rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Gragel's gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a pup protector. Fool deflector, interceptor, and I'm meaner than a specter with a vector on his pector. With all respect, y'all, just remember I've a temper fucking check ya. I have no agenda, I'm no pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right, everybody, talk to you later.